My homily for the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary and Joseph, the 28th of December 2025. Wives, submit to your husbands, said St. Paul. What do you think of that, ladies? Not a lot, probably. But just to quote that line is a classic example of taking something out of context. Firstly, it was written 2,000 years ago, when the overriding culture was that the man was in charge of the household. In fact, women were often regarded as possessions of their husbands. Thankfully, things have changed, encouraged, I would say, by the Christian teaching about absolute equality before God. That quote should not be considered anyway without the line that followed it. Husbands, love your wives and do not be harsh with them. Love, as St. Paul reminds us in that beautiful passage from 1 Corinthians 13, often read at weddings, is very powerful and means putting your beloved before yourself. It's the same with the quotes about children. Children should obey parents, but parents should be kind and considerate. We should never take a line out of context. It must always be considered in the light of the whole message of the Scriptures. St. Paul gives us a good summary of that message in today's second reading. Compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing with each other, forgiving each other, love, the peace of Christ and thankfulness. Not a bad basis for community living, is it? Our first reading from the Old Testament speaks beautifully of what a loving family life brings. Honour your father and mother. It atones for sins and lays up treasure in heaven. It brings blessings on your own children, and your prayers will be heard. Care for your parents in their old age, and you'll be blessed. My father in his old age became very deaf due to working in heavy industry. It was frustrating, and I wasn't always as patient as I should have been. I remember him and my mum and the wider family in my prayers now every day. Our gospel reminds us of the challenges some face today in caring for their families. Joseph had to take Mary and Jesus and flee with them as refugees. God's providence was at work fulfilling the Scriptures and pointing to who Jesus was. But it must have been very hard for them, as it is for those families today who have to flee persecution and war. Was Joseph the ideal husband and father? A quiet man? No word of his is recorded. A dreamer, a thinker, a man of prayer, and a man of action who acted decisively when needed. He was clearly the right man for Mary and Jesus. But like us, he was also a sinner. And Jesus loved him dearly, as he loves us all too.